Hi guys, this is Natasha, aka Natty Willie from the Nerd Element. I'm here with Claire Kramer at San Diego Comic-Con.
Hi guys.
All right, so how many Comic-Cons have you gone to over the years?
You know what? I cannot even count. I started going to conventions somewhere around 2000 after I debuted on Buffy. And I have taken various breaks throughout the years. Now I've sort of transitioned more into hosting conventions. And so really it's countless, in the hundreds.
Now, I've seen you moderate a few panels. So how does it feel like moderating and talking to like people you consider coworkers?
Oh, I absolutely love it. I mean, I definitely am moving in that direction of more the journalistic approach when I go to conventions, and it's been really great. What has happened at some of the bigger events, C2E2, Emerald City, Planet Comic-Con, Denver Comic-Con, is they've set up the main stage where it's not, you know, a table with a podium anymore. It's literally like a living room setting, and you have a conversation versus, you know, just a Q&A. And it's really worked out, I think, much better for the guest experience as well as for the fan experience.
All right, so it's been 20 years. It seems like yesterday.
It does.
Buffy.
It seems like yesterday.
Which episode was your favorite to work on?
I think that my favorite episode was the 100th episode, because theoretically at that time it was the end of the show. People didn't know if the show was going to continue. It was the end of the show being on WB. Of course, it moved to UPN for season 6 and 7, but at the time, no one was sure what the future for Buffy was. So they kind of wrapped up the entire season and series with that episode. And of course, you know, Glory got a lot of fighting in that episode. It was the culmination of the character. It was the culmination of the storyline for her. And so that's probably one of my favorites.
Was that the first time that you actually had a fight scene on a show or on a project?
I mean, Buffy was the first time I had done television. So I had done fighting maybe on stage, but yes, Buffy was definitely, I cut my teeth in the stunt department and learning how to stage a fight and having that kind of physical aspect to acting, I guess.
Did you know at the time that you would be playing like a baddie on Buffy?
Well, I knew from the audition that they were hoping that her character would be the big bad for the season, but Joss has a way of not really committing, a very smart way, by the way, so that if a storyline isn't working, he can kind of jump ship. So it was a few episodes in, I think they committed to Glory and making her the big bad. And so at that point, you know, I kind of was crossing my fingers that I'd be able to stick around, at least for that season.
Yeah, and one more question regarding Buffy before we move on. What do you think happened to Glory after she went home?
Oh, well, a lot of people say, oh, Glory died. No, Glory did not die, okay? I think Glory probably body jumped into Giles.
Okay.
And I'd like to see her, you know, in maybe the next season of the comics.
Okay.
That could happen.
Now, you've now direct, so tell us about your latest project.
I just wrapped picture on my first feature documentary called Joyrider. It is the story of Andre Kylik. He is a wheelchair athlete. He's a double amputee who has turned into a crazy endurance athlete, and he spent 3 years qualifying for this race called Race Across America. And this year he qualified, and so we packed up a crew and followed his crew from Oceanside, California to Annapolis, Maryland, and he hand cycled this distance in 12 days. He set world records, course records, hand cycling records. Utterly amazing. He slept about 90 minutes a day.
Oh my.
And that was it. And it is just he is such an inspiration. He's such a badass, and I'm really, really excited to bring his story to the screen.
Do you feel like you've naturally transitioned from like an actress to like someone that produces and, you know, organizes a project, even directing at this point?
I think that directing was something I always wanted to move into. It was definitely something I had my eye on for the last several years, and it is a natural transition from being in front of the camera. You learn a lot, obviously, but the appealing part to directing for me was being able to put my artistic thumbprint on more than just one performance.
Okay. And so you now have Geek Nation, which is like a national website. Now, how did you get started with Geek Nation, and why did you want to get started with that?
In a way, Geek Nation was the same as Joyrider. I wanted to have more of a voice than just as an actress. So Geek Nation is an entertainment website, and it reports on not only genre entertainment, but really all things entertainment. I mean, I'm passionate about film, television, literature, sports, and so Geek Nation is sort of the combination of all those passions.
So how did you get started on your journey to become an actress? Like, what gave you that bug?
I don't know. I think that if you're meant to be an artist, from a very young age. So I really always knew that I was going to pursue the arts, whether it was through dance or acting. And it, from a young age was always performing. And so when it came time for me to go to college, I chose NYU, which has a fantastic theater department. I studied at Lee Strasberg Theater Institute. And that's when I really developed my knowledge of the history of acting, and that's when I became even more passionate about it. So it was always in me, I think.
Okay, and so we're at Comic-Con. Is there anyone that you haven't met yet? I feel like you've met a lot of people over your years.
It's true.
and is there anyone that you haven't met yet that maybe you would just like squeal inside if you met them like here or?
Of course, anyone from the cast of Game of Thrones. Anyone, which I have met most of them, but George R.R. Martin, any of the Walking Dead cast. Like those are probably my two. Greg Nicotero, I'd love to talk to him. Those are my two probably favorite shows. But the great thing about Comic-Con is there are literally people walking around from every TV show and movie that you love just as much as I love. So it's such a great environment for people who thrive on their love for film and television.
And cosplay has been a big part of conventions. So have you seen any cosplay of your character from Buffy, or even from Bring It On, or any?
I have seen both. I've seen Buffy, Bring It On. People cosplay Big Ass Spider, and it is so flattering. There is nothing more flattering than to see someone dressed as you, and it's the highest compliment.
Well, thank you, Claire, for taking the time to talk to me.
Hey, thank you so much.
And have fun. Of course, you have fun everywhere you go, probably. And just continue geeking out.
Thank you. Bye.